Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be answering all of your questions that you sent in to me in my 1K celebration video, and at the end of the video I will announce who has won the giveaway. So I have quite a few questions here. Many questions. So I am very sorry if I do not get to yours. I have tried to organise them into 3 separate sections. So I've got like a bookish section, a channel section, and a life and miscellaneous section. So if you're particularly interested in my answers to any of those, then I will have that segmented in the video. So if we start with bookish questions, as this is a book channel, before we get into the more personal ones, I have also tried to, if people have asked the same question, I'll try and prioritise those ones so that the masses get answered. Question 1 is, are there any animal characters, animal companions that you love? And this was asked by both Ria and by Katrina. Thinking about an animal companion I would like, the one that first comes to mind is the animals in the Faithful and the Fallen series, which I love, by John Gwynne, like Storm the Wolven, and the crow that can talk, the relationships with those animals. I would love to have that relationship. I would love to have a wolven protecting me from all the scary people that are in this world, and making sure that I'm safe. A wolven companion to protect me. So yes, I think, and a crow as well. Wouldn't it be so useful to send messages via crow? I don't actually know how useful that would be when you've got emails that you can send, but it could be useful. Then there were a few questions on genres. So Sam asked, are there any genres you wish you liked reading but don't work for you? So same as Beth, is there any book genres you don't usually read but you're looking forward to reading more of? So similar but slightly different questions. As with what Sam is saying with classics, I wish I really liked reading more classics. And I have enjoyed quite a few classics, but they are a bit more hit and miss, and they are a bit more effort. And I feel with reading that I read for pleasure and for fun, and sometimes I don't want to read with thinking. I don't want to think too much, even though fantasy you do have to think, but I don't know, there's just something about classics which is a bit more daunting for my brain. So I would agree with you, Sam, and say classics, because other genres I'm pretty open to. I probably would like to read a bit more Beth's question. I probably would want to read a bit more non-fiction. I don't really read that much non-fiction at all. I'd like to expand in my non-fiction reading. I listened to a couple of non-fiction books last year. I believe this actually links to another question was asked by Connor, which was, what is your favourite non-fiction book? And I think this is tricky for me because I haven't really read that many non-fiction books. So I guess if I was touching on it, I really enjoyed Invisible Women by Caroline Criado Perez, which is on the data biases in the world and how everything is designed for men. So I really enjoyed listening to that one. I found it very informative and I guess infuriating, because it made me realise how much of the world is designed for men. But if you're interested in that, then I would recommend it. Sorry, I don't have very many recommendations for non-fiction because it's a genre that I would like to read more of. Then I had quite a few questions on if I've met any famous authors, if I could meet an author, who would it want it to be, what would I ask them, if I could go for dinner with an author, who would it be? So who have I met? I have met Philip Pullman. He was the first author signing that I ever went to when I was a young child. My dad took me to, I think it was I can't remember where it was in Oxford, but it was in this beautiful building in Oxford. He did a talk there, and then he did a signing of his books. I think it was Lara's Oxford had just come out, so I got that one signed by him. I went to a Sarah J Maas signing a few years ago, so I've also met her. I worked at a few literary festivals growing up. I volunteered at one in Henley, and they had the author of How to Train Your Dragon. She was there, so I listened to a talk from her. But if I could meet any author, who would I want it to be? I feel I'd really like to meet, there's quite a few. I'd be happy meeting any author. I'd be I would love to just chat with any author in real life and have dinner with them. I think it would be so interesting. But I think Brandon Sanderson would be a really interesting author to meet because of his world and what he has planned for it, and just discussing the Cosmere. I think he would be a really cool author to talk to and hang out with. Looking at my bookshelves and thinking who I would want to meet. I mean, I'd like to meet everyone, like John Gwynne, S.A. Chakraborty, like I'd really like to meet her. Like Sarah J Maas, obviously, I'd be very happy going to meet her. And like if an author was dead as well, like Jane Austen, like what it was like for her writing in her time. So many authors that I would like to meet. And Emma, are there any popular books you dislike? I have a whole video on my unpopular opinions, so if you are interested in that, then you can find all my very many unpopular opinions there. The Contradictorian, or Klaus, says that I'm the late Lord Ruler. It's a joke and it's gone way too far, because I don't want to be the Lord Ruler. I don't want to be the villain. But yes, if you want to be my Still Inquisitor, then fine, yes. And who is your favourite actor character? Well, recent, obviously. Then there are a few questions asked by both Molly and the Scientist Reading World, and by Jitesh on if I was to travel to a fantasy world, where would I go? I like how Jitesh specified that I had safety precautions so I could live, because there are many worlds that are very dangerous. So where would I want to visit? Because some worlds I wouldn't want to visit, and some worlds I'd want to visit, but I'd want to have like magical powers, and so I could like live in them comfortably and not die. Like I'd only want to live there like if I had the magical powers that were associated with that world. I would really like to visit Daevabad and like spend, I don't know, I could spend a while there, I think, because they've got really yummy food and I like to eat, so that's important. Yeah, I'd really like to visit Daevabad, and like if I could have magic there, that would be great as well. And just like hang out with Nari, Dara and Ali. Like there are a few questions on like favourite authors, favourite things, favourite whatever. So Christy Lewis asks, who is a UK author you wish more people would read? I mean, my obvious answer would be John Gwynne. But I feel as though a lot of people are reading him now, which I'm really, really happy about. I think there are quite a few UK authors which do get recognition. So yeah, John Gwynne, I'm so happy he's getting recognised because I love his books, and he is a UK author, so yay for UK. Samantha Shannon as well, I believe she's from the UK, and I have really enjoyed both The Bone Season and Priory of the Orange Tree, written by her. I really, really, really liked Priory of the Orange Tree, and I feel as though a lot of people like own that book, but they haven't read it because of its size, but it's really, really good, and I would recommend reading that. And I really want to reread The Bone Season, and like, because I read it I think like 5-6 years ago now, and then continue on with the series. So that's that. And she also asked, what is your favourite breakfast? So for breakfast, I quite like having like banana, yogurt and granola. I don't know if that's a favourite or just something that I'm used to having, but like, I mean, if I was treating myself, like I love a chocolate torsade or like a pain au raisin, or like the French breakfast, like the French boulangerie breakfast, or choquettes, like those sorts of really naughty sweet French patisserie, bakery, boulangerie breakfast. Stacey asked what my favourite fantasy subgenre is. I mean, I like all fantasy, but I really am attached to like fantasy romance, where you have like fantasy with a romantic subplot, or like the mixed together completely. Like I really enjoy that, like anything Sarah J Maas or the From Blood and Ash series, like I really like that. I really love whatever John Gwynne does with this like epic, just epic fantasy. So there's a few like, who is your all-time favourite author? Who are your which was asked by Deborah, and then Portable Magic asked, who are your auto-buy authors? Joanne also asked like favourite and least favourite book in the last year. So thinking about favourite authors and auto-buy authors, so I will buy literally anything by Sarah J Maas and John Gwynne, probably anything by S.A. Chakraborty now, because I've literally read pretty much everything those authors have written, and will read pretty much everything they will write, most probably. I pretty much bought everything Sarah Dennard has written. I guess Sanderson as well is a bit of an auto-buy author. Like there's a few I haven't read yet from him, but I would say that I would pretty much read everything that he writes, and I will do eventually. I will get there. So those ones, and I guess those are like my favourite authors as well, because if they're an auto-buy author, then they're a favourite author. And favourite and least favourite books that you've read in the last year. So my favourite ones I pretty much talk about all the time, but like my favourites from last year were the John Gwynne Faithful and Fallen series, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and Empire of Gold, the third book in the David series. I think those were like my favourites of the last year. And I guess From Blood and Ash. Oh, so many to choose from. And then like my worst book, I mean, it feels horrible to say least favourite, but I mean, there were a few that were disappointments, and I have a whole video on my disappointments from 2020, but like my biggest disappointments were Rage of Dragons, which I wasn't a fan of, Leviathan Wakes. Those were big disappointments for me. I mean, like my least favourite book of all time, I think, is Madame Bovary. I mean, the author's not alive now, so I can't really hinder his sales or affect him personally, but I really did not like Madame Bovary. Andrew has asked me an absolutely horrible question. I told him this was horrible when I saw it come in, and that was kiss, marry, kill faithful and fallen characters you can only choose from the Bright Star Warband. I don't want to kill any of them. Any of them. Why would I kill any of them? Ugh. I'm thinking, who would I kill out of the Bright Star Warband? And I don't know. It makes me sad thinking about killing any of them. I guess if I had to kill any of them, I would kill Brina, because she is old and like she's had a good life. Like, at least like thinking about Madison, like non-spoilers, completely non-spoilers, like she's old. She has had a really good life. She's lived. Whereas like Corbin and Simon, they're so young. Like I couldn't kill them because they're so young, they're so innocent, they've got so much of their life ahead of them. So I'm gonna have to kill Brina. I'll marry Veridis because he's so loyal and he seems like a nice guy. He seems like he's loyal and a nice guy. And I'll kiss Corbin. Yeah, there we go. It was the killing thing that I didn't want to do. I didn't want to kill any of them. John Gwynne does enough of that. Marta asked, are there any series that you feel should have stopped after the first book, as it would have been better as a standalone? I think the Curse and Dark and Lonely series, I mean, I enjoyed the third book, but like I feel as though the first book was easily the strongest in that series, so that probably should have just stayed as a standalone and could have been a standalone. Sophia asked, which book would you love to collect in every edition? I mean, I don't really like collect that many books in pretty editions. Like if I have one copy of a book, that's enough. I don't like go out and seek multiple editions or something. But I guess like it would have to be like a favourite book, wouldn't it? Like I feel as though there's pretty editions of Addie LaRue, like there's some really stunning editions of that. There's some really pretty editions of like The Starless Sea. Rebecca asks, how quickly do you read, and do you set a yearly goal of books? I mean, I don't really know how quickly I read. I guess I read about a page a minute. I would say roughly that, sometimes more, sometimes less. I feel as though my concentration isn't the best. Like I will procrastinate unless I'm like really in with the story. I try and like dedicate most of my evening to reading. Yes, I have been setting yearly goals for like the past few years now. I generally set it at 75 and I pretty much always hit 75. Sometimes I've got like close to 100. Jane asks, what's your favourite book memory? You mentioned your father reading to you, but is there a book that transports you back to the past, or a book you remember exactly where you were and how you felt when you read it? I feel as though I've got quite a few like distinct memories of reading books. Like I distinctly remember reading a lot of books. I think because I really enjoyed travelling, and I have lived abroad. Like quite a few of the books that I have read whilst travelling and whilst living abroad, I have distinct memories of reading them. Thinking back to like my childhood, like I have distinct memories of reading The Worst Witch. Growing up, because we read that, I think my mum said that we were in Spain, like we were on holiday, and I distinctly remember reading that. I have distinct memories of reading the Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout when I arrived in Spain on my year abroad, and like binging that when I was like getting used to the city. I remember like walking around and like sitting in different parks around the city with that book and like just enjoying the nice weather. Like, but yeah, I mean, like so many books I have distinct memories for, so many of them. It's hard to pick just like one book with one distinct memory. Ariel asks, if I suddenly awoke with magical powers from a book, what magic system rules your power and what is the power itself? Oh, I mean, it's hard to pick like one magic system. I think I'd like to be a Mistborn. Like being a Mistborn would be a pretty cool, like waking up and suddenly being able to be a Mistborn. But I wouldn't know that because I haven't consumed any metals. So it would be a bit tricky to suddenly wake up and be a Mistborn. I mean, I'd love to just have like wake up and just have like a generic form of magic and be able to do magic. Just as a whole, like. Okay, we're moving on from the bookish questions to the channel questions. There were a few on what's your favourite video you've made so far, which was asked by Andrew at Get Right On In, and Jenny for the pages also asked what video you're most proud of. I mean, I'm really proud of myself for like putting out all my videos, like just doing this as a whole. I'm really proud of myself. I was really proud of my taste test of reading like Alan. I was so proud of that video. Like, I remember when I made the thumbnail and I was literally laughing to myself because I found it so funny. And I remember editing it, and I remember editing in like the scene of Les Miserables where there's a "Do you hear the people sing?" and I put Alan in front of it. I was really proud of that moment, and I literally just laughed, and I rewatched it like so many times, laughing at myself. And that. Do you hear the people singing the song of angry men? So I was really proud of that video, and I posted it quite a while ago. So if you've not seen it, because I had a lot, there were far fewer subscribers at the time then, and if you watch Alan, then I would recommend watching that video because I'm really proud. I'm really proud of it, and I had a lot of fun making it. And then there were a few questions on like, where do you see yourself in, well, Andrew again, where do you see yourself in 6 months time? And same with Jean-Philippe, how do you see your YouTube channel life post-COVID? I mean, hopefully I'll be in a very similar place to now, but maybe I'll be working a bit more. So currently, because I work in the travel industry, I am only working 50% of my hours, and luckily the UK government like supports me financially with the rest. So that is why I've been given this like extra time that I've been able to dedicate to my channel. I will probably have less time as long as the world continues to go back to normal, because maybe I'll be working from the office again as opposed to working from home, which is another reason which is giving me more time because I don't have to commute. But I mean, I am looking forward to having a bit, seeing people outside of my household. I think as well, because I'm now used to making videos, it's a lot quicker of a process as opposed to when you're making your first one, so you can just make them a bit more quickly, and it won't take me so long anymore. So hopefully it will be in a very similar place. Like, where do I see myself in 6 months' time? So yeah, back at work, hopefully, full time in an office. It will be like September, won't it? It will be after the summer. Maybe I'll be a bit more tanned because the summer will have happened, even though I don't really tan. Maybe I've been on holiday. That would have been really nice. I'd love to have been on holiday. Then there were a few questions on like, what was the biggest hurdle, mental or physical, you had to overcome, still dealing with when starting and maintaining a channel? And that was asked by Cheyenne. And Books with Bridget asked like, how do I manage my time to create content and still have time to read? Tani's questions about what you're feeling when you first started. Like, I was so anxious about starting my channel, like so anxious. Like, I remember when I like clicked the publish and I was like, it's gone, it's out there, it's in the world. Whereas I don't really have that fear so much now. Like, that fear definitely passed after the first couple of videos. I mean, it's still exciting when a video goes live, but like, I don't have that like anxious, like, oh my god feeling when it goes out. So that was like a big hurdle to get over, and like putting yourself out there on the internet. I guess one hurdle is editing, and like you can get used to talking in front of a camera relatively easily. Like it takes a bit of time, but you get used to it. But editing is like a different skill. It's a new skill for me. It's something that I've had to completely learn from scratch. And like, there's different sides to it. I don't think I do anything fancy with my editing. I pretty much just get rid of all my ums and like put a few pictures in, and there's nothing really fancy that goes on with my editing. So, but like, it still takes a lot of time. So that is a hurdle. And one of the hurdles was finding a like editing software that worked, because my laptop was really old and it just could not handle anything, and I tried on my phone and my phone didn't really like it either. So then I started using my boyfriend's laptop and using iMovie on his, which he was very hesitant about at first, but luckily he came around and let me use his. I have since bought my own, which I'm loving. It's very new and just arrived. So that hurdle of like having the technology, I guess how I manage my time is that I've been really lucky and have had extra time because of having less hours at work. To be able to manage creating content and reading. But it is always a balance. Like, previously, all this time that I was reading is now on making videos. That it does take up so much more time than I thought it would, because there's the video, like actual filming thing, which doesn't actually take that long, but the amount of time doing the editing and like doing the thumbnail, just getting it all sent to YouTube and like doing all of that, like that all takes so much time. Jolene, my favourite part of the booktube community is the community, is the people, and being able to have met so many lovely people. Luna asked, will I do a bookshelf tour, and do you enjoy watching them? I enjoy watching them when they're just like an overview and they may like pick out like one book per shelf and like say, oh, this is my favourite book off this shelf. I don't enjoy like when they pull out every single book, because I mean I can see them. So it's like, it depends how it's done. I think my issue with doing one is that I only have this one bookshelf here, so I feel as though you see a lot of it. I mean, there's quite a bit up there that you don't see all the time, but like you see it. And it's not as though there's like multiple shelves, and I do have like a big floor shelf, so I feel as though I don't quite have like the bookshelf aesthetic to do a bookshelf tour. I mean, I do want another bookshelf, but there's finding the room for it. So then moving on to the more personal questions. Elizabeth asked, what is your favourite colour? Blue. I've always loved blue, purple, those colours. As a child, like I literally would just wear blue all the time, like all my clothes were blue. And like my family is very colourful in their clothing, and I was always very mono-coloured, just blue. And I feel as though I have tried to like branch out as I've got older and become a bit more colourful, but I am still like called the blue girl. And there's a few questions on music. Like I'm not a massive, like I enjoy music, but I don't really like listen to a lot of it. Like it's not something that I'm particularly passionate about. I pretty much just listen to generic pop. Like there's no, like I'll listen to like a wide variety of genres. I've been to a few concerts. Like I went to Reading Festival here in the UK growing up. I have been to see the Rolling Stones a few years ago with my parents. At the Reading Witch asks, what's something about you that you love doing that we wouldn't probably know from your channel alone? Thinking about things that you might not know about me. If you didn't know, I am a big cyclist. I mean, not like professional or anything, but I really enjoy cycling for pleasure and fun. When my office was open, I would cycle to work. So my commute to work is either like 45 minutes on the underground, like it's underground train, or 45 minutes cycle through a park. So when the weather was nice, I pretty much would always opt for the bike because it was healthy, it would get my exercise done for the day, and it was free. So I cycled a lot, and then when lockdown happened, I just kept cycling, except I was no longer cycling to work, I was just cycling around my local area. I could probably now do tours of London on my bicycle because I know London so well and know where all the cycle routes are. Yeah, I really enjoy cycling. I find it a great like way to relax, and well, relax sounds like a weird, but like detox from my brain. Like I'm not really thinking, or I am thinking when I'm doing it, but like there's concentrating on the road. I like, sometimes it helps me like process my thoughts, like exercising. So yeah, that's a random thing about me, that I really like cycling. And I would love to do like a cycling challenge, I think, at some point. Like I cycled to Windsor and back, it was like 100k. So, and I did it with a couple of friends, and like it was a lot of fun. So I'd like to do like maybe some more cycling challenges and like test myself. But yeah, I really enjoy that. OG Garbage Tea asks, what's invisible but you wish people could see? And the only thing I can think of is time. Like I think it would be really interesting to see time and see how time passes and like see that. But yeah, that's what came to mind straight away, time, like just being able to experience time. Patrick asks, what would be your weapon of choice in a zombie apocalypse? I don't think I'd do very well in a zombie apocalypse. I don't think I'd do very well at all. I'd probably try and like, I don't know what I'd use. I think we've got like a cricket bat somewhere in the house, but like I would not do very well in a zombie apocalypse. I'd probably run and hide and find someone else that had a weapon to protect me. And then, I mean, I've talked about it a little bit in this video about travelling, but there were quite a few questions on travelling for those that have known that I really enjoy travelling. Like Patrick asked, if you can travel to any country right now, where would you go? And like Joanna asked, what's your favourite travel destination? And where do you still want to go? Where would I go? So I had a few holidays booked for 2020, and unfortunately they didn't happen. I was meant to go to Greece. So when you're thinking about where would I go on travelling, I mean, I'll probably just go to the holidays that got cancelled, that I planned to go on. So Greece I wanted to go to, and I was also meant to go to Japan for 2 weeks, and that got cancelled, and I so upset about it. I have not recovered. I'm still so upset from my trip to Japan being cancelled. So those would be, I guess, the first two places that I would travel to. I mean, I really love Canada. I love Canada. I've been twice and I absolutely love it. So I would love to continue exploring Canada. I haven't really been to British Columbia, so I'd really like to go to that side. And my favourite that I've been to, and like compared that with Jordan's question of what's your fondest vacation memory, and Sam McGriff-Reeds also asked what's your favourite travel memory. So I mean, I have really fond memories of going to Canada. So both the times that I went once with my boyfriend a few years ago now, and I had a great time. Like, I won flights, which was just amazing. And then like I managed to get some great deals through work for the hotel, and we stayed in these really, really nice hotels, and we travelled around. Like, we hired a car and travelled around Quebec, around Montreal and Quebec City, and then we took the train down to Ottawa and Toronto and saw like Niagara Falls, and like it was just an amazing trip, like combining with like the cities and the nature. Like, I just love that, the mix of having those, of having nature and cities in one trip. And then I went with work at the end of 2019. I went to Banff in Alberta. The scenery is just stunning. Like, I don't think that it's just so beautiful there. So I have really fond memories of those trips and like being in Canada. But as well, like, I have family in France, so like I've travelled to Paris quite a bit, and I have a lot of fond memories of like being with them in Paris, and like that probably will be the first place that I travel to when the world reopens, to visit them and see them and like be back in Paris. Finishing off on a bit of fun, Alan has asked, how does it feel to know so little about the UK? No, Alan, I know a lot about the UK. I know a lot about the UK because I am British. So I may not know random facts, and random facts that you make up. Like, is Tenginese to a bent hat pin really a saying? Because I don't think it is. I would love to know if you actually know a lot about the UK, or if you just know about Mary Poppins, Alan. And in conjunction with that, Philip Chase has said, how accurate or inaccurate is Alan's impersonation of an English accent? As a follow-up, would you kindly give us your best Alan impersonation? It would only be fair. Oh, Philip. I'm not very good at impersonations. Not very good at them. So, I mean, Posh Alan does a pretty good job in a humorous sort of way, I would say. I mean, I feel as though he wants to be British. He wants to move here and be British. I don't know if he would pass as a Brit, like if he was having casual conversations, but you know, random words every now and again are pretty funny. So what's like an Alan saying? So, if I was Alan, if get into my Alan zone. Oh, I'm wearing sleeves. I don't like sleeves. They're leaning. Boosh. Where are the orangutans? Don't you dare take me away from the orangutans. It's orangutan time. I tell you when it's the time for the orangutans is over. That book, so good. It's so good, guys. It's so good. Okay. Those are all my Alan impersonations. I can't do an accent, sorry. I just used Alan phrases, but hopefully that's good enough for you. So those are the questions that I'm going to get to. There are more, and I'm really, really sorry if I didn't get to your question. I'm so sorry. I was overwhelmed. There are too many. So I'm really sorry if I didn't get to yours. I hope if you still want it answered, then I will do another one sometime in the future, and hopefully I will get to it then. So that's it for the question. But now onto the giveaway winner. Found this website called Comment Picker. So I will be picking 2 winners, and then I will be in contact with you to arrange getting your gift prize to you. I have put my video in, and supposedly there are 75 unique comments. So start raffle and pick winner. So I will press start raffle and pick winner. And the winner of the first giveaway is Ev. So Ev, congratulations. Woohoo! I will contact you to see what book you might want, but you are a winner. I will now pick another winner, and we'll see who that is. Beth, congratulations, you are a winner. So I will contact you as well and organise getting you a gift. That is that. Winners announced. Winners. So exciting. I love giveaways. So exciting. So yes, you are both winners and I will contact you about that. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!